everyone, and welcome to RVing in New England again this week. We're happy to be here and happy to have everybody on board and looking forward to a tremendous show tonight. Our guest is Joel Holland from Harvest Host. I'm going to bring up my partner in crime here. Let's see where he is. There you are. Hey, John, how you doing?
Bob, how are you? It's so good to see you again. And we're back in our regular sequence. Last week we were taped, and you know what? It's so great to be back. And you did a phenomenal job over the last couple of days in securing our guest tonight. I'm really looking forward to finding out more about this program.
You know, I think all of our shows have been good, but I've got a great feeling about this one because this is something that every RVer is going to love, and it's such a great idea. And with the new ownership at Harvest Host, you're going to enjoy the show. Not a whole lot locally in terms of what's going on. You know, I don't know if you saw the post the other day, but there was a fire up at the Freiburg Fairgrounds yesterday evening. It destroyed the lamb barn and the beef barn. There were no animals in it, but it could have been much more serious. But the firefighters were there quick and got it out pretty quick. So they're going to have to do some rebuilding before the fairgrounds and the main state rally comes up. But other than that, locally, a couple of the dealers have some sales going on. But the sales have been brisk, and I think they're going to be brisker. There's a lot of inventory out there, so watch for some special buys during July and August. I know you're heading out on the road this week, so you'll be doing some remotes with us over the next couple of weeks. What do you got planned?
Well, we are heading out to the EAA 2018, which is the Experimental Aircraft Association. It's one of the largest events in the entire United States. It happens in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. One of the towns near our friend Greg Gerber.
Right.
And I'm told when I spoke with their media folks last week, there'll be 590,000 people at this event, 10,000 people flying in and sleeping under the wings of their private aircraft, and 8,000 people who are much smarter that are coming in an RV, sleeping in air-conditioned comfort and being able to get in if it rains. So 8,000 RV is a lot.
I always wanted to go to that show. Never figured it yet. Let me.
Looking forward to that.
Okay, let's bring up our guest and get right into it because I think our viewers are going to have a lot of comments. And welcome, Joel Holland, to RVing in New England. We are delighted to have you here with us tonight. Let me go three wide on the screen. Let's do it that way. Joel, you just purchased Harvest Host. I introduced you to John earlier. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell folks a little bit about yourself and your background and what made you attractive to purchase Harvest Host?
No, you bet. Well, Bob, thanks for having me. John, love your outdoor setting there. I was going to set mine up outside, but it started raining on me, and it's first time it's rained here in Colorado in 3 weeks. So just bad luck.
Our neighbor has turned off his lawnmower, so that's even better.
There you go. Yeah, so I'm really excited to be kind of picking up at Harvest Host and continuing to build the program. So Don and Kim Green, they founded Harvest Hosts about 9 years ago, and their premise was there are all these incredible places in this country, farms, vineyards, distilleries, breweries, museums. Why shouldn't RVers be able to stay there instead of staying in a parking lot, you know? And so my wife and I, a couple years ago, bought a Reflection by Grand Design, hit the road, and we've RV'd through all the lower 48 states. We've had a great time doing it. And the only nitpicking comment I had was sometimes I get a little bored staying in some of these campgrounds. You know, some of the more traditional campgrounds can be a little stiff. And I stumbled back to my RV for the night.
Okay.
So basically, Joel, you could basically wake up at any one of those lower 48 campground states and not know where you are because they were cookie cutters.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. You know, and it's nice. It's power for my air conditioning. It's a sewer and a water line. It's nothing wrong with it, but it's not unique.
Mm-hmm. Well, the interesting thing that I've found about since I did some research on you when Bob told us that you were going to be the host today is that unlike many people in this industry, you're a real RVer. You have walked in the shoes of the people that you're selling to and associating with. And Bob's laughing as well because Joel, so many people in this industry, including the presidents of the manufacturers of these units, don't even go in them to find out, their likes and dislikes, let alone travel in them and experience the lifestyle of an RVer. And I think that will put you miles ahead in your effort to build this company even greater.
Yeah, Bob, what were you saying? That question you usually ask your guests? What the first question you ask them?
When I interview CEOs when I'm writing for the trade journals, the first question is, do you use your own product? Do you go camping? And many of them say no. Actually, you'd be surprised a lot of the salespeople have not been out there. So those of us who have the real passion for the industry and the lifestyle, it comes to the surface and people see it. I think they're going to see that in as you take Harvest Host to the next level. I was struck by something that John said about waking up in the morning. So I'm going to drop myself down. This is a picture that I found on the Harvest Host website today, and I think this is terrific because this is the way you want to wake up in the morning, but you want to have orange juice in the glasses instead of.
There we go.
Here it is.
Hey, I was just in Napa last week, and we saw a ton of people that already got the idea to RV in exciting places. And I'm sure on your list of host properties, Joel, that there are several in the California area.
Yes. Before you jump into that, Joel, I just want to recognize some of our loyal fans who are with us tonight. We have 2 girls and a dog, Laurie and Michelle. And she says, we haven't used, Michelle, shame on you, Michelle. She says she haven't used Harvest Host yet, but they're going to. Yeah. Jerry Plant, who's a regular, in fact, Jerry was a guest a couple of weeks ago. He's a wealth of knowledge on the RV industry, so he's back. Jerry, glad to hear you've already been to Harvest Host. And we got Tom Zabrowski. Tom was the regional president for the FMCA New England Northeast area, and Tom is a wealth of knowledge as he drives around in his Tiffin motor home. And then, okay, New England RV Dealers, you are on the big screen here in TV. Help me out on that one. Is that?
It's a new one.
That's Pleasant a new one. I'm not sure who it is, but they posted as New England, so it must be Michelle. Oh, maybe it's Laurie.
Oh, Prescott Valley.
That's Prescott Valley. Okay, that's Michelle out in Prescott Valley.
Prescott Valley.
Okay, so she's got, well, I hope your mom and dad are listening. I hope they're doing well out there, Michelle, so I hope they're up there. And we got Walter Swenson. He's up there he's at the Good Sam Rally in Herkimer. That's the Diamond Farm. The Diamond Farm's up there, right, Walter? Walter's our resident chef. Posting all the great.
I think it would be a diamond mine.
Diamond mine, yeah.
I don't think they farm diamonds yet.
Yeah. And Jerry's down at Cape Cod, and here's a good plug for you. Look at this is unannounced, and Harvest Host and love the club, and so that's the kind of comments, and that's the kind. So you want to address some of those, Joel, and you got a new fan club building up here in New England. Yeah,
well, so this makes me so happy, and this is when I found out about Harvest Hosts, I love the idea.
We lost your voice, Joel. We lost your voice. I don't know if you can hear us.
Let's see what we got here.
There we go.
Okay, you're back.
Okay. No, I was just saying, this is what I love about the program, is it really is a community. And everyone that I've met, and I've been to a number of these locations, everyone's super friendly. And they, I go in there as a stranger and I always leave as a friend. So that's one of the reasons I'm in love with this program. So I'm excited to see these comments.
Hey, Joel, I gotta say, you were a member of the company before you bought it, right?
Right.
You're like the Victor Kayam, who was a guy who was a customer of Remington Shavers, and his TV commercial said, "I liked the company so much that I bought it."
Joel,
remember Victor Kayam, Bob?
John, I got news for you. Joel's not old enough to remember Victor.
No, but I love the idea. That's
not only did he do that, but then he got the old Boston Patriots. So I remember him. Yes.
I don't think Joel's old enough to shave.
I just shaved this morning for you guys. Put on my fresh face.
And I did. Hey,
Yo, John,
can
tell them what you did today. You posted on was it a couple of sites you posted about Harvest Host?
Well,
tell them about the comments that you got back from that.
Okay, Joel, you're a techie guy, right? That's your background. You're a high techie guy. Okay, so in the old days, in my days of radio and TV reporting and that kind of thing, you'd have to go to the library and find sources, which by the time they got to the library, they were out of date. So what I had heard about Harvest Host, but never really was that familiar with it, I kind of got the concept. So I went on to a Facebook page called Living the RV Dream. Living the RV Dream. It's 55,000 members. We had the founders of that, John and Kathy Huggins, on a few weeks ago, so we know them. And here's my question. Anyone used Harvest Host program? ? What was your experience? That was posted 9 hours ago. I've gotten 23 responses. Okay. And, here's somebody tells me about it. You pay an annual fee. I think it's $45. Most hosts are one-night stays, but some allow you a couple of nights. We love it. If you're okay with dry camping, it's a great program. It's great fun on-site at farms. Awesome. Great experience. Haven't stayed at a bad place yet. Highly recommended. Worth the money. Yes, we use it. We absolutely love it. Do they let you? Here's one. Do they let you run your generator? So now you've got a member asking another member a question, and they say, we've used our generator with permission of the host and usually wait until the business is closed for the day. Another person says, always ask first, but by far they don't blink an eye at it. We've utilized it twice this past spring. We're very happy with the 2 wineries we are at. Not always the norm, but we had electric and water and even live music at one of our stops. Well worth it for a change of pace. We love it, incredible, et cetera, et cetera. The only negative thing I heard is somebody said they called 2 places and they weren't able to get into either of them, but they realized it was a last-minute phone call.
Yeah, I mean that I love that. I appreciate you sharing that. It makes me it just makes me so happy.
So now that we've pumped up our audience about what it is, can you tell us your business background and as to why you were able to look at this not only as a vacation thing, but a vocation thing as well?
Yeah. So, and in fact, this is the background on how I got into RVing in the first place. I started a company, a technology company in Washington, D.C. called Storyblocks, and we built this thing up to a large company, about $35 million in revenue, all based around membership for content creators, so videographers, photographers, and that sort of thing. Built a great business, but during it, I worked a little too hard, a little too long, and I got burned out. And one of the things I started doing to get my sanity back was road trips. And that's what led me to fall in love with RVing. And I mean it. Like if I hadn't found the RV lifestyle, I think I would have burned out entirely and been in a bad place. So I got into RVing. I loved it. Ended up selling half of the company that I founded, and that gave me a little bit of disposable income. So my wife and I took off in the RV for a year and just traveled, saw some incredible places. And there she is, Mary Ashley. And that's our Harvest Host rig. We actually wrapped the whole thing in branding, which is cool. But so we traveled for a year, and during that, I realized I want a lot more people to get off the couch and get on the open road, because I think it's just, not only is it a fun lifestyle, I think it's a healthy lifestyle. And I think a lot of people in this country are burned out, stressed out, jaded. And when you get on the road and you get in an RV, all that melts away. And so, for me, buying Harvest Host, I was fortunate that I had money to do it. I was fortunate that Don and Kim were interested in selling. I think they saw that I was genuinely passionate about it. And the goal now is just to try to share this experience with as many people as I can.
Now, you used the term passionate. And a couple of weeks ago, we had somebody on that started their own company that said, you got to have the passion to do it. Because you love this, are you and I know you have to consider it a business, but is it a job?
No, it's not a job.
In the true sense of a word?
No, it's not. And in fact, to me, the only way the best way to run a business is if it really is, if it feels like a passion project more than a job. Now, of course, there's things I don't enjoy, like the finances and problems here and there. The website goes down. That's frustrating. But overall, it's a passion project, and that I think that's the best way to run a business.
Hey Joel, we've only been on 14 minutes, and let me show you a comment that just came in because we're going to make you even more famous. That's I don't know if you've seen Rolling on TV. It's all around the country. It's the #1 RV lifestyle show in the country. Comes out of Massachusetts here with Jose Moniz and Michelle Fontaine from Two Gals and a Dog is their marketing communication. So I'm guessing that's from Michelle, but it might be from Joe. So they would like to interview you and do a segment on their television show that goes out to millions of people, millions of households every week. Now, that's not bad. You're only on the show 15 minutes, and you're really climbing the ladder already. So
hey, I love it. Well, and the other thing I love here is I went to college in Boston. I went to Babson College, and so I love Massachusetts. I just can't. Any excuse. Yeah, Babson.
Babson.
I graduated 2008.
Oh, he's just a baby. He is a baby. Wait a minute. Were you 20 years in the Army before you went to college?
He's not even ready. He's not even ready for the razor blades yet.
But let me suggest one thing to you, Bob, and it's a generational thing that we're finding more and more. My son-in-law got out of college in 2008. Okay, he worked for a giant bank in Boston, then went to work for a smaller company that was recently sold, and now he's looking into a totally new business. And he's your age, and that's the mindset of your generation. And people think that from generation after generation after generation, people think the same way, but they don't, which is probably the reason that membership-based organizations in the RV biz, such as the Good Sam, such as the FMCAs, there's nothing wrong with them, but the new generation doesn't think the same way. And I had to throw that in because a lot of people go to Bob Zagami and say, Bob, our numbers aren't what they were 5 years ago. And they think they're doing something wrong when in fact the demographics are such that the people that are now the 35-year-old people, they don't think the way their parents and grandparents thought. And I think by you going out of the box from, the traditional campground, you might be able to haul a whole bunch of new people into RVing that have never RV'd before.
Yeah, and that's actually, so that's a really good point. So one of the biggest frustrations I had and still have is that for a lot of the younger generation, there's a stigma with RVing, which is, oh, it's for old people, it's for retirees, and that's not true, right? That's just not the truth. And so I'm actually very excited to get more of the millennial generation out exploring. And I read some very promising statistics that young people are really excited to get out and go camping, hit the national parks, get on the road. And I think you're starting, Bob, we were talking about this yesterday, you're starting to see more travel trailers, Airstreams, some of the smaller units being very appealing, Class Bs especially, to this younger generation.
Yep, and I think you're going to see that because they tend to take the day trips or the weekend trips. They go kayaking, they go mountain climbing, and they would love, overnighting in a vineyard that has a wine and cheese shop, and they pull in late afternoon. They go in and get some wine and cheese, throw a steak on the grill or something, sleep overnight in the open air. And we talked about Airstreams. Let me drop myself off and just comment on this. I think this blends well with what.
I love this photo. To me, this really kind of tells the story. Peaceful farm, beautiful sunset. You got the place to yourself. That, to me, that's what Harvest Hosts is about right there.
Mm. Hey, Todd, Joe, one other thing, going back to the demographic thing with my daughter and son-in-law. They do day trips, and I know they do them because they ask us to babysit for their kids. They go to these microbreweries. They're cropping up, I don't know about nationally, but all over New England. They're going to these microbreweries, and there's one in Charlton, Bob. I can't remember the name of it, but they have to hire a state trooper on US 20 to stop the traffic because they sell their beer. The people go there at 10 in the morning to stand in line before they open. and they're building these beautiful facilities, and that's probably a whole other, you know, the wineries are big, gigantic facilities, you know, that have thousands of acres like we saw last week in California. But these microbreweries in New England or the Northeast, you know, may be another venue for you to look at as future hosts.
So in fact, John, I was looking at our stats, and so we have 600 locations, 291 are wineries, so that is the biggest, but 34 are breweries and distilleries, and these are more recent. And I think we've gotten a lot of really positive feedback about those breweries and distilleries.
I'm not knocking Budweiser, but Budweiser is not the one that the young people want to go to. They don't drink Budweiser and Coors anymore.
No, they want that Wachusett.
Right.
Wachusett, right? That's right up the street.
You know, I'm up in Maine most of the summer in our park model.
Look at Shipyard, Bob.
We have but we have a thing called the Maine Beer Guild, and it's all the microbreweries, and I think we're up to almost 60, maybe over 60 microbreweries just in the state of Maine. So from a marketing standpoint, if you were to a little flat card, can't think of the name of it now, but like a rate card, and I'll bet that if you sent them out to these microbreweries, that they would put them on the counter and say, you know, when you're camping, consider Harvest Host or something like that. Because when my daughter's up and her husband, and she's 36, like she was up last Saturday, we visited 3 more microbreweries. Sometimes we go back to ones that we've already been to, and every one of them is packed, and every one of them is packed with 21 to 40-year-old. It's not an old crowd. I'm usually the oldest guy in there. When I walk in, they probably look and see who I am. But
by far,
that could be a phenomenal market, prospective market for you. And that goes.
I agree.
But check out the Maine Beer Guild, and there are a lot in Massachusetts too. Yep.
Yeah, I'm taking notes. Maine Beer Guild, and I like the idea of sending out. I mean, first of all, I do want to start getting in contact with more of these locations. So that is one of my top priorities, is to increase our hosts, because I think if we're going to increase membership, we need to also have a lot of new hosts to, you know, accommodate. So I like these ideas. You guys are smart.
Right. Hey, see, we get so many, Todd, Joel, one of the things that we find here is that Bob and I can have 20 questions pre-planned before we go on the air at 7 o'clock. We won't get through a third of them because our viewers are so good that, like Treehouse Brewery, Walter, that's the one in Charlton, Treehouse Brewery, that's only been there for a year and a half. They're already over capacity. And I think what they're doing is they're selling their tickets online in advance. Wow. So because of the traffic capabilities, but they've got a beautiful rustic place. You know, again, new demographics, new ideas, and young people like wine and they like craft beer. And a lot of them like taking their kids to these farms so that the kids can pet the animals. More so than amusement parks. I know my daughter would rather take her kid to Davis Farmland. Bob, I don't know if you've been there with your grandson.
I've taken Bobby there. Yep.
Davis Farmland, more so than a major branded amusement park. Michelle brings up a good point that.
Joel, can you see that? And, that's from Michelle, and she's also at Rolling on TV. But can you walk through the we're talking because we all know about the process and we know what you're doing. And I'm sure we got a bunch of viewers out there saying, what's this all about? Maybe give her a walkthrough.
How does it happen? How do you get it?
So luckily, I like things that are simple. And for a member, it's very simple. You go to harvesthosts.com and just click the little join button. We'll give you kind of a walkthrough of what exactly this product is. And if you want to sign up, it's $49 per year. But I think we created a little special coupon code for your viewers, so they can actually get $5 off of that. So, $44 a year, and you get access then to our whole database of 600 plus locations. And as I was saying, that's wineries, breweries, distilleries, a lot of interesting museums, air museums, car museums, locomotive museums, really fun farms for the kids. And as a member, you can then log in and see a map. You can kind of organize by state. You can create a route, see what's on your route. There's a lot of different ways to find the members, the different hosts. And we have an app. And so you can use the app to find out as well. And then if you find a location you like, here's an example. There's a farm and sugar house in Vermont that I put on my list. I'm going to go try to visit this September. They give you the contact information. It mentions, whether they allow, what they allow, whether they're dog friendly, how big of a rig they can accommodate, and a phone number. So you can call them up and say, hey, I'm with Harvest Hosts. I'd love to visit you on, so-and-so a date. Do you have space for me? And I've used a number of Harvest Hosts. I've always had really good luck being able to get in. So it's pretty simple. I mean, honestly, the hardest part was the work that Don and Kim did, getting 600 hosts to agree to allow our viewers to come visit. So I think for us as members, it's not too bad.
Hey, Joel, I think by basis of all these comments, Bob and I have become your official marketing directors for the organization, because Walter Swenson writes, Mass Good Sam would love to include your literature in our welcome bags for our rally next year in May.
Well, we can do it. We can do it at Normandy Farms at the yeah.
Right, exactly.
And
in
then
September.
Pick up the mass rally.
Yeah, and Bob, if you want to give out my, oh, sorry, I'm getting a little echo. If you want to give out my email address, it's just joel@harvesthosts.com. And I'd love to talk to anybody who has ideas.
Yeah, I wonder why we're getting kickback.
No, I'm okay. Every once in a while, let's just blame the program. It's not us. Blame somebody else. The all-American way. Hey, Joel, behind your right shoulder, I see a globe. Take a look. Just turn around a little bit. Okay. Is there any hint in that, being in the picture, that there may be international implications for your program?
Well,
or that
so
just happened to be a coincidence?
Well, it was a coincidence. It was a gift from a friend of mine from Mexico City. And he wanted to make sure I would come visit him.
Does it have the wall on it?
No, not yet. I think that no, it was not in there.
Sorry, folks. That was a political comment. Erase that from the record.
No, it's all right. If you can't laugh about it, it's no good. But no, we are in Canada. We have a lot of Canadian members.
And your feedback, if you have Facebook, if you have Facebook up on one of the if you're trying to watch it on Facebook, that's probably what's causing.
Oh, he's got earbuds though.
I just have little earbuds, yeah. No audio coming out of my computer.
Okay. Because I think, I'm getting a little bit too.
No, he's fine. I'm hearing him fine.
Oh, you're hearing him fine. Okay, that happens.
Yeah. I haven't heard feedback. I've heard a couple. He's cut out a couple times, but that's no big deal.
This is a suggestion. I suspect you may know this already, but if you're using the earbuds, the audio on.
Here, I can try. I'll just plug it into my.
Hey, Bob, this is kind of funny. Two tech novices given the techie instructions on how to go online.
I bet we're all wrong.
No, see, Joe. Whatchamacallit's got feedback too.
Lots of feedback.
Yeah, she's getting feedback from Bob and Joel. So I might as well just take over the rest of the program, do the whole thing myself.
All right, Tom says the Northeast area of FMCA would love to next live. Well, you guys can read that rather. Okay, we're taking notes.
So there's another rally, FMCA. And hey, Joel, have you ever thought of offering a group discount if you're part of a large group? I mean, I don't know how much of a discount you can do. Your price is so ridiculously low to begin with. I mean,
we can't hear you, Joel.
I lost you, Joel.
Okay, he's going to go back the other way. His
can't hear you.
Here's another great stop from their website. I'll drop myself down here.
Go ahead, Joel.
Joel, can we hear us?
Nod your head if you can hear us.
Okay, he can. All right, I'm going to try to minimize my background noise. So I can pick up the audio and carry the conversation.
Okay. I can't hear you. Can't hear a word you're saying, Joel. But while they figure it out, Michelle, I looked and I haven't seen anything on the website of an affiliate program yet, but I think it's certainly something that they're looking at. They've taken over just in the last month or two, right? Joel, if you can hear me, nod your head. It's only like in the last month and a half. And I think that I read somewhere that you're considering an affiliate program, but there isn't one in place as we speak, right? A lot of it is word of mouth, right? A lot of it is word of mouth. And, but that's certainly an idea. And for those of you that are trying to figure out how the program works, I mean, I looked at it today, and basically you join the membership, and then say you're going to Wisconsin, hypothetical, like I'm going to Wisconsin. You zero in on the map of Wisconsin, and you look for the certain code of the type of facility that you're looking for. And when you're a member, you have access to the database, which is not on the website, because obviously anybody could call and say they're a member, and then they would you'd call and see if you've got availability and tell them the days that you're staying. And I think that's pretty much it. Bob, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine, John.
Okay. Have we totally lost our friend?
He just sent me a note. He's going to drop out and come back in.
And then come back in. Hey, Bob, yeah. While Joel is coming back in, I just want to tell you this. During the past week, just before 4th of July, I flew out to California. And let me tell you, if one trip on the airplane wasn't enough to make you say, you know what, I'm going to take a little more time and get there in the RV. If that wasn't bad enough, the TSA line in the beginning was bad. And then the rental car line was bad. So I landed in San Francisco at 10 in the morning, didn't leave the airport until noontime. 2 hours of getting my bags, getting to the rental train to go to the rental train, to the rental facility, standing in line that was weaved around like that. I see Joel's face back there, but I don't hear his voice. Do I hear your voice?
Can you hear me now?
Beautiful.
All right.
We hear. Right. Good. So I saw 2,000 ideas to go RVing. And let me tell you, folks, the wineries, you don't see that much in New England. You see it a lot in upstate New York on Interstate 90. But boy, if you want to go to California in that Napa Valley, and I haven't seen how much activity there is, but it's quite a place.
Can you ask Michelle on that?
And John, I could hear John. He actually pretty much nailed it. We don't have an affiliate program at the moment, other than if you're a member, you can tell new members to mention your name when they sign up in the Learn to Hear Better field, and we give you two extra months of free membership. But one of the things we are building is an affiliate program. You can then link to it or use a coupon code, and we'll give you a little compensation.
We're still getting the feedback on that. Can you repeat this?
There's nothing coming out of my speaker. I'm not sure where the feedback's coming from. What's that?
Can you fill the headsets and just use the computer? That's all. John.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
I'm still hearing the feedback.
Do you have your computer? Are you watching it on a Facebook page next to you?
Nope.
No. Okay. Because if you do, but anyway, let's roll on, Bob. Let's keep going here as best we can.
Yeah. What else should people know about the site or the program?
Well, I think there's three things that I really wanted to prioritize when we came in and started working with the program. One is adding more hosts. So if you have any ideas for hosts you'd like to see in the program, shoot me an email, joel@harvesthost.com. We're going to improve the technology. I've brought over a couple of my best developers from the last company to basically help make it a lot easier to find hosts and do route planning and trip planning. And then the third piece is just picking ideas from our members. And so we sent out a survey and got 407 responses with some really exciting ideas for how to make the program better. So those are the three buckets of priorities that I'm focusing on to start.
That's interesting that you got that amount of feedback, because 400, I don't care what the sample was, how big you sent it out, how big your universe was, but 400 RVers love to tell others about their RV and what they should be doing with the other RV. And I found that between wine people and RVers, people love to share good stuff. They share bad stuff, but they like to share good stuff. People like to tell you what they did because they want others to recognize that, hey, their idea was a good idea. I'm sure you're finding that out as well, because you were an RVer and are.
Joel, what about consumer shows? Are you going to be exhibiting at any of the consumer shows this year or early next year?
Sorry, Bob, can you say that one more time?
John, repeat that if you would.
I couldn't hear you, Bob.
Consumer shows. Are you going to be exhibiting at any consumer shows?
Oh, for us to attend?
Yeah, to have a booth.
Yeah. Well, actually, this would be a great place for you to give me some ideas, because I would love to attend shows, and I don't know the best ones.
Okay, we can talk about that off.
We can tell you that.
Yeah.
There was a question that Two Gals and a Dog had about geographic limit of too many in one area. I think that's what she means. There we go.
I don't think we have that intention. And if that was the place, I'm surprised. To me, the more the better. As long as they're high quality hosts that have space for RVers and genuinely want to be a part of the program, I think there's nothing wrong with having a lot of them in the same area.
What's the coolest thing that you've experienced since taking over the reins?
Well, the first campground I ever went to was an alpaca farm in Kansas run by 3 nuns in their 80s. And one of the things I did was a massage from Sister Imelda, who just turned 80 years old. And she was very good. So that was very exciting.
Had you had the wrap on your unit yet?
Not yet. So last year was my first time using a unit with the wrap at a winery. And that was a lot of fun as well.
Did people come up to you? Did fellow campers come up to you?
They did, because I actually had to. I stayed in Christmas, Indiana, at I forget the name of the place, but a holiday park. And a lot of people came up and said, "What's this program?"
Yeah, I guess the amazing thing is a lot of other businesses wrap RVs when their business has nothing to do with RVs. Your wrapped RV actually has something to do with RVing.
That's right. Well, and the funny thing is, most people who see it think it's a rental unit. So they say, "Oh, you're renting."
Oh, it doesn't say Cruise America. No, it can say Wine America.
Yeah.
Or Booze America. How about Booze America?
Perfect.
Now, have you contacted the people in Lynchburg, Tennessee? I think Zagami has some contacts down there.
Nice. No, I'm always looking for some new contacts.
Bob, you want to mention a suggestion you may have?
Hook him up with my friends at Track Game.
Oh, yes. Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, we'll find someplace on the distillery grounds where they can do it. Yeah.
What kind of response, Joel, what kind of response are you getting back from your hosts? What are they saying about the types of people that you're sending to them?
Yeah, so I also did a host survey, and the overwhelming response was very positive. They said our members are very courteous. They follow all the rules, and we have a whole and they're very good about the wines and the cheeses and the vegetables and fruits.
I saw somebody ask earlier, do you have to buy anything when you're there? I guess the legal answer is no, you don't, but common sense says that you do, because if you were going to spend $80 on a campground, why not spend 40 of it, in the store, if they have a store. I mean, most wineries have a retail store, right? I don't know about regular farms.
Every one of our locations has some product to sell, and it's not a requirement. We say you're saving this amount of money at a campground, a little bit back to the small business.
Yep. Okay. I think the background is probably driving people nuts, and we're at about 45 minutes, 15 minutes over. So I think I'd like to wrap it up. Well, I think. Why don't you lead the wrap up?
Okay, good. Well, we want to certainly thank Joel for being with us. I see, based upon the number of 37 comments in 40 minutes is a large number of comments. Joel, here's what's going to happen. We have X number of people that are viewing this live, but as soon as we quote unquote syndicate it to about 25 other RV related groups, these comments keep coming in, even though they're watching them on a replay basis. But Bob and I continue to monitor those comments and answer questions. You may want to do the same yourself, so that if there's a question they have that only you can answer, getting it straight from the owner is certainly of beneficial value to you. And I just got a membership today. I'm heading out in 48 hours. And I looked and I saw that belt around I-90 going straight across from New England to Wisconsin. Man, there are a lot of dots there. So I got to figure out how to do this. I'm going to be doing that when we go off the air. I'm excited about it. And the other thing, Bob, that we had talked about is next week when I'm out there, we'll be doing Facebook Live videos from host farms. I know from my wife's point of view, she'd rather be at a farm that raises grapes than cows. So consequently, there will be some wine infused, huh?
So she'd rather buy wine instead of milk. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes, exactly. She likes purple more than white. But we're going to be doing some Facebook Live videos, and maybe there's even some other campers that we can talk to. But it's just a program that I think its time has come. And as you said, the founders of it, the originators of it, they did all the hard work getting that base. I mean, it's a lot easier to build the base from 600 than it is from 0.
Absolutely.
And now with new technology being available today, with even programs such as this, because Walter Swenson or Tom Zabrowski or any of those guys, I mean, they could bring 50 new members tomorrow. Do you make public the number of members that you have? Is that an issue that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. We're almost 8,000 members right now.
8,000, okay. So that's certainly growable.
Yes.
That's certainly growable. 8,000 and 600 units. That doesn't seem to be a lot of sold out signs.
Right.
To me, it seems like
in fact, when I asked our hosts whether they'd like more traffic, all of them said yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. And Bob and you had talked. The only reason I'm talking now is because I'm the one who couldn't get on the air earlier at 6 o'clock, but now I guess I'm the only one that's got the good technical setup. And I understand that now because of people that watched the show tonight and will watch it in its replay format, that there is some kind of promo code. So if you promote, punch in NERVDA, you'll get $5 off your membership.
That's right. Yeah, when on the sign-up form, you'll see a little, it says code ? And a checkbox. Just check the box and the code field will open up, and then you can put that right in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's 10%.
10%.
Right? More than 10%. More than 10%. I'm sure Zagami ground that out of you.
He did. He beat me down. He's tough.
And the only reason, Bob, I know I have a San Francisco Giants hat on here. And the only reason is because we went out there last week and my friends bought me a San Francisco Giant hat. What I did see last week were tons of wineries, and I saw tons of reasons why people should be RVing. Interstate 80 goes pretty much right across the middle of the country, and there's so much out there. And I think, Joel, even if you took one interstate highway and just did a marketing push along that highway, you can grow that number phenomenally. And I think what'll happen is as soon as you get that, but when you promote the positive feedback that you're getting from your current customers, number one, more retail customers will want to join. And secondly, more businesses would want to take advantage of that opportunity, because if you've already done the host survey, then other hosts want to know how it went at other places. And I'm excited about 48 hours when we hit the road.
I know, I'm jealous. I wish I was getting on the road. That's exciting.
Yep.
Well, Joel, I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight. We'll do it again sometime, because I think you're into something, and I think you got a great passion for it, and I'm excited about working with you any way you can.
Yeah, thank you, Bob, John. I really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. And, I'm excited to get up to New England and hang out with you guys.
Okay, guys. We know a lot of people at Babson that I'm sure you know as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, so we'll see everybody next Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Thanks for being in New England.